morning, and that means it's time for the Good Morning Net here on the W9DOR repeater, located in Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, Door County, USA. And that meets 7 days a week for the purpose of good conversation amongst licensed amateur radio operators, all of whom are welcome and encouraged to join us in this morning's net. Your next control this morning is Jeff, Kilo Charlie 9, Golf Bravo X-Ray. And I'm about 6 miles north of Sturgeon Bay in the town of Sebastopol, where on Monday, November the 6th, we have 54 degrees, barometer of 29.44 and going down slightly. Solid overcast. Kind of high right now. It doesn't look all that threatening, but we had the past 24 hours a quarter of an inch of rain. We have light southerly winds at this time. Emergency and or priority traffic can break into this net at any time. Let's check for some right now. Nothing heard. 3-minute timer on transmission length. And as always, we appreciate those of you out there listening who do not have licenses. We would encourage you to think about getting a license and joining us, because there's always room for more here on the net. Okay, your question of the day. As a youngster, or maybe even as an adult, when you would go out to play or do athletic activities, what was the name that you would use for the footwear that you were going to put on? I was thinking about this, and to me, every time I would go out to play, I would put on my tennis shoes, but clearly I wasn't going to play tennis, so it just became the word for athletic footwear. So what did you call your tennis shoes or your Keds or whatever you would go to wear when you wanted to play? Okay, now let's look for check-ins from people on their way to work, people who will not be around for the whole net, or people who are mobile and feel they'll soon be out of range of the repeater. Please check in now.
K9ARZ. W9LON. Crossband.
Okay, we've got Kevin leading off, KA9ARZ, and then turn it over to Luke, W9LON, portable and crossband. Go ahead, Kevin. Good morning.
Jeff, KC9GBX. This is KA9ARZ. Good morning to all with the first weekday of standard time once again there after the shift, and with the kind of overcast skies and rain there. The shift, this morning I headed off to the fitness class, kind of some remnants of sunlight as opposed to the skies have been clear, have been more noticeable that time in the morning. So nice yesterday, was able to make use of the shift to driving some daylight conditions over to the Hamfest, and I've got using it right now. So nice drive down there, fairly nice turnout when the Hamfest was going on yesterday morning, and then afterwards headed off to meet up with former co-worker in Appleton, had lunch, and also watched the Packer game there. So the local NFL team snapped the 4-game losing streak, and see if they can win 2 in a row next Sunday. So ready to head off for a full day of work. No meeting tonight there. And with that, send it over to W9LON from KA9ARC. Good morning.
Kevin, just enjoying a fall day here. We're out of town last week and have a whole bunch of items on the punch list for the day, so everything I do is look forward to it. So, good day to the next, and
Control, KC9LN Zulu.
Go ahead, Tom.
Sorry about this. I'm going to be mobile shortly, so I just wanted to get in. I don't know if I'll make it in when I'm mobile, but good morning to all. 55 degrees and a good wind here in Kiwani. Got a lot of rain and lightning here last night and early this morning, so hopefully everybody's going to go good. Sorry for the late check-in. Just thought about it and said, you know what, I may not get in mobile. So everybody have a good day, and I'll probably be listening. KC9LN Zulu, back to net control.
Okay, well, as you always admonish people, walk or drive carefully on your way wherever you're going. Thanks for your check-in. Thanks to Luke and Kevin. All of you have a good day. We've got so far 3 people on the Echolink board. Yeah, still have 3. We'll get back to you in just a moment. But right now we will take check-ins from everybody else who would like to join us. The VHF RF check-in. Please check in now.
This is Kilo Alpha Niner, Whiskey Alpha Romeo, KA9BXG,
W9ODD. Bravo 9, November.
is Kilo Charlie 9, Kilo Mike Alpha.
Okay, we've got Artie, KA9WAR, Bob, KA9BXG, Rick, W9OBP, John, over in Michigan, AB9NN, Damien, AG9P, and my trusty sidekick, KC9KNA Jones. So the Echolink stations on the board right now are, we'll lead off with Michelle, K9G. Michelle, you will turn it over to Jack, Kilo Alpha 9, Tango, Quebec, Charlie. Jack turns it over to Alan in England, Golf 1 AEU. And Alan, as of right now, you will turn it over to Artie, Kilo Alpha 9, Whiskey Alpha Romeo. So, Michelle, take it away. Good morning to you and Judy there in Appleton. This is Monday's Net Control Station, Kilo Charlie 9, Golf Bravo X-Ray on the W9DOR Good Morning Net, Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. Go ahead, Michelle.
GPS, thank you very much. Good morning to you. Good morning to all on the net. This is Kilo 9. I am here. The temperature here is 55. The barometric pressure 29.53, and the humidity is pretty good. The sky is mostly overcast, but there are a few spots where it's more, the sky is a little bit more clear than that at all. On the road, there is some tracks of rain, so it must have been raining during the night in here. I didn't hear it, but it must have happened, and the rain remains on the road right now. So that's the kind of climate that we have right now. And to answer your question in here, I remember I had to wear some special shoes, and I don't know their names, when I was at age 9 or 10 for a stay, maybe a couple of weeks in England, actually, for some sort of a vacation at the time. And I remember that day, and I liked to play the tennis at that time. And these are the days preceding the beginning of World War II. And after that, a few days later, we had to move from England at that time and return to France. That tells you the event to the question that you are asking in here. Right now, if I want to have good shoes for either walking or doing some exercise and so on, I almost always buy them from Hitchcock, if you've heard of that supplier on the East Coast and here. Very, very good shoes, good sizes, and so on. So, partly that can answer your question also in here. So, that's as much as I can answer right now. So, with this, I'll send you know 69 GBX. Good morning, Jack. This is 69GU. Meanwhile, all had a good time on the net and in here.
Well, thanks, Michelle. Good morning to you and everybody on the net. K9TQC in Clintonville, where it's a somewhat astounding 56 degrees, which strikes me as surprising, but that's what it's out, so that's what it is. Might be a good day to go out for an e-bike ride. Maybe I'll see Bob out there somewhere. So yesterday went down to the Appleton Ham Fest and just had a delightful time. Didn't see any equipment that was very interesting, but I ran into a bunch of old friends from 35 years ago. W9OP, who started the Bozo group, and KN9P, who's my Elmer, and K9OJN, who he remembered. The minute he saw me, he remembered when we set up a Bearcat scanner and a handheld radio to make an impromptu repeater up in Lakewood when we had ham radio management of the second biggest cross-country ski race in the state. And it was just a wonderful trip down memory lane. And I found out that the gentleman who used to live here in Clintonville, and is the reason we live in Clintonville, or part of it anyway. I knew him as a ham and just asked him, because when I lived up in Townsend, I'd never even heard of Clintonville. I said, well, what's it like there? And he talked me into coming down and checking it out, and here we are so many years later. But he's in a nursing home, so went from the Ham Fest to the nursing home and visited him. So all in all, the ham part was the minimal part, but seeing old friends was great. And as far as footwear goes, growing up in the East, I always called them sneakers. Tennis shoes, I've heard the term and obviously knew what it meant, but I think we just call them sneakers. So I'm not sure if that's a regional thing, perhaps so. Alan, what do you call them over in England? On AEU, K9TQC.
Good morning, everybody. On the left, nice morning over here. On the swing stars, but plenty of sunshine. And I see the QT is a little bit warm up in Wisconsin now. This yard is at a minus 50. So, Joan, you are seeing everybody with a pumpkin pie. Oh, what a picture. Oh, lucky that. Anyway, I don't know too well many of them that looked at the email that I did. Anyway, I did see out Roach yesterday on the Boatyard website. Left a very nice shipyard. It says LCS 25, Marinette. Nice ship to be going to sea. Anyway, over to do 09ARD, 1AU2.
Golf 1, Alpha Echo Uniform. This is Kilo Alpha Niner, Wisconsin Amateur Radio. Oh, good afternoon, Alan, and good morning, everyone here. 55 degrees, and the sun is trying to get out. We did see it, then it went away, and now it's back again. And also, we did have thunder about 3 o'clock this morning. Anyway, to answer your question, like Jack, I grew up in the East, and our shoes were called sneakers, the ones that we used basically. I had to change when I went roller skating because you had to have a hard sole on there to clamp on the skates. So that was the change there. Well, yesterday we all know that the Packers finally won. The only thing is that Wisconsin lost on Saturday afternoon, but we did see replays of the Wisconsin volleyball win against Illinois, and also the replay of the Wisconsin hockey game against Michigan. So 2 out of 3 in that respect there. Other than that, I guess we'll see what develops today. K89BXG, this is K89WAR. Good morning, Bob.
Well, good morning. Yeah, it jumped from like 45 to 54 in the last 2 hours. So, pretty nice days for that part. But we've had some 20-mile-an-hour winds right now. So it's pretty windy out there. And a major incident happened yesterday with the Bobcat. I was unloading a bunch of logs. We got two loads of logs yesterday and one on Saturday. One of the hydraulic rams started spewing oil out at a very high rate of speed, so I had to stop. Hopefully my parts will be in today and I can get it fixed. I got to finish unloading. And I got to start splitting. Most of this stuff is just junk wood. It's not any good for board, so I'm going to make firewood out of it. Did get some nice logs out. Otherwise, went to a little get-together for the Tractor Club from Luxembourg, from that show. It was a really nice turnout there. Probably was close to 100 people there, and it was very nice. They have a place right down south of Kewanee on Highway 42, the farm I think it's called or whatever, and it's a wedding venue, and they've got some old buildings and the school and all kinds of interesting things there. So I think I'm going to go down there on Saturday. They have blacksmiths there between 9 and 4, he said, so I might head on down there. Otherwise, going to stay busy today. Over to Rick, OBB, K90. Oh, sneakers. We always call them sneakers. But usually I had more of a work shoe type on because working at the farm and baling hay, and when I started working, I always had work shoes. So back over to Artie, K9DXG. Oh, excuse me, Rick. Over to you, Rick.
Thank you, Bob. Good morning, all. K9DXG, this is W9OBB. Good morning to Jeff and Joan and everyone on the Good Morning Net here this morning where it's sun's out here in Green Bay. And, for the most part, it's all blue skies and clear. I don't know how long that's going to last, but like Bob mentioned, we've got some pretty good winds going here in town anyway. 10 miles an hour to 15 miles an hour, temperature of 57 degrees, and decibel 0.6 inches of rain during the night, early this morning. As far as the question of the day goes, they were always referred to in our household as gym shoes, because my dad was a stickler when it came to treating your feet properly and not having fallen arches, and I don't know why. I guess it was the military that planted that in his mind, but we were forbidden from taking our gym shoes home from school and wearing them anywhere else. So we had to wear regular shoes, dress shoes. I guess back in the day you didn't call them orthopedic shoes, but we always had to have the proper shoes. We went out to play one of our sports or something like that. Well, it was not an athletic shoe, it was a regular shoe for the sport. Well, that's the deal there. So they were always going in gym shoes. And Saturday we had our two granddaughters staying with us. And we really had a blast with them. Really had a good time. Did some projects. So they're always super busy with something because they're so occupied. And even the little one now is getting into reading more books. So having reading and so on and so forth. So, and then after church yesterday afternoon, we spent the afternoon over at their home down in Appleton and worked on installing towel racks and towel bars and stuff in the different bathrooms that they have there. So we got a bunch of that stuff done. So didn't really see much at all of the game, but understood and understand that they won. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to John in Beulah, Michigan, 8910N. This is W9OBC. Good morning to all.
Okay, good morning to everybody on the Good Morning Network. John, 89NN in beleaguered northwest border, Michigan. Straight across the pond from Algoma, 9 miles inland. And yeah, we had quite the storm that moved through. We had a line of storms that actually intensified as it came across Lake Michigan. Normally they diminish when they come across, but this one just intensified. And we had reports of winds up to 50 miles an hour. We had heavy-duty lightning and torrential rain. It moved through pretty quick. Even though it was raining really hard, we got just about a quarter of an inch of rain from it, and the lightning moved off in time to be able to get everything connected back up and get back onto the net. Let's see, as far as footwear is concerned, things that come to mind are you can call them sneakers or tennis shoes, or boots or Uber boots, which was a big pull-on boot. And let's see, had a pair of tennis shoes, my favorite pair of tennis shoes. We took my sister on a road trip to New York to the port, where she hopped on a ship to take a boat ride across to France, where she studied for a year in France. And on the way back, we went up through Canada, saw the Niagara Falls, and took the trip through Canada and came out at the Sioux Locks. And we stopped at this sports store in Canada, and they had this pair of tennis shoes. They were high tops, and they had suction cups for grips on the bottom, and I bought those. And I'll tell you, I never had such good fancy footwork on the basketball court with those tennis shoes that I've ever had before. And when they wore out, I looked and tried to find a replacement for them, and never could find any American manufacturer that made those shoes. That was a major disappointment. let's see, temperature currently 53.5 degrees with a south wind at 5 miles an hour. Storms are moving quickly to the east, and solar flux index is at 155, so not too bad from that perspective. And supposed to be getting a little bit colder as we go into the week, with possibly some snow on the roads later in the week, so we'll see. With that, it's over to AG9P from AB9NN. John in Beulah with an S9 on the repeater this morning. Good morning, everyone.
By the time when they got a good size, we were going to have to cut them down because they would come all the way over the road. So it's so much easier. You know this with a bobcat. You scoop it, move it, and you can dig the hole it's going to go into at the same size of the one that you're digging out. So the transplant is pretty good for the tree, and then the rain and the temperature just couldn't be more ideal. So we moved about 5 of those, and then he ripped out. Nothing's more fun than watching a skid steer rip up honeysuckle and then smooth the dirt, and I'll be able to mow there with ease, and that, of course, is fantastic. And then we rearranged rocks, also equally fun. I had to have him move this enormous boulder that is about 4 feet by 4 feet and a 2-foot tall, so it's way too big to push with anything we've got. But I couldn't get my gator through the opening between the vegetable garden and this rock, so he just picked it up and shoved it over, so that worked out great. Well, anyway, between the garden and the cooking, I was exhausted. I sent a picture of the sort because it just required an illustration. Now I'll tell you the story, Alan, because you weren't here for that. Back in the day, our vice president, Mike, WB9OKC, and Jeff and I would frequently go to the local bakery cafe, and we knew the woman who made that product, and it would be in an enormous pan, and Jeff would get a piece just as often as she'd make it, and it got to the point that when she had a new batch of it, she'd call it. I've got pumpkin torch. And so we would go back, and the record was we believe he went back 4 days in a row to buy a piece. And so I had to start making it because the stuff was, I don't know, bakery prices compared to the ingredients. But you can tell it's a ton of work. Make the crust, make the cheesecake, make the pumpkin pie. He puts that topping on, so the 85% too much whipped cream is no thanks to me. But it's a requirement for fall, and Artie knows this. The only thing left is the Chex Mix, and I don't know if Great Britain would have this. It's a savory snack, salty savory with peanuts and pretzels and breakfast cereal and butter and some seasoned salt. Well, is everybody ready for Thanksgiving? It's fall. We're moving trees, making dessert. Oh my goodness. And I'm just going to take over the net and send it to Larry, KB9CIP, because I see you there. Good morning, Larry.
Oh my God, I got it. Okay, once you see the ICIC later, now Jack went along. Even with the extra hour I overslept and I couldn't find my Android, so I'm on the computer. And I forgot to work as well. Yesterday, we have 2 regional teams, right? The good one and the losing one. And the little the air takes forever in it, but true to the point, they managed to pluck the feet out of the jaws of victory. I was going to put Baker for a moment there. I thought they were going to disappoint me in a way. But they lost because something like the industry scoring. For me, they were 2 shoes. They can't mind longer than an hour. Their feet would just flat. I never understand that. My shoe, my moving shoe, was the second loafer. So before my feet did get flat. And many loafers, for the box road, many loafers. So they were many loafers anymore, but they had 5 those loafers. Loafers, what I'm taking with that kind of one. And those gym shoes, they had to be gym shoes by the sneakers for zero. And they had to be flat, they had to be high top. And those shoes are called Converse. I think thought those things, back then rubber was just used after the war, and rubber was just hard as a rock. And I can't imagine, obviously they would work much harder, but I can't imagine those hard such up in statistics to the bottom of the show, so these things. But I guess they did. And they did it, and I got today.
thank you again. You and Apple for the everybody else.
another issue that somebody mentioned that. I forgot who. Somebody mentioned that. But for some reason, Chicago was hot on Congress, and they were thick. I mean, they didn't flex much. You know, back then, I remember when I first saw my first set of spiked track shoes, there was nothing to them. I mean, it was just a bottom with some spikes sticking out of it. No heel, no nothing. They were made for running. Compared to those clunky Converses, which, you know, had in essence a piece of wood for a sole, it was incredible. And boy, I'm flashing right now. Holy cow! Thanks, Jack. I got a kick out of that. All right, thanks everybody for letting me in twice. KB19BP back to Jeff.
All right, thanks, Larry. Yeah, I had even forgotten about PF flyers there, so thanks for that. Okay, now we'll open it up to either new check-ins or anybody with a comment. Okay, we're going to wrap it up for the day. Let's see, I don't know how to make this comment, but maybe people here on this morning's Good Morning Net have noticed a few long-time regulars who haven't checked in a while. So I don't know if I want to name names or name calls. Well, for sure, we hope John, K9HJL, we hope you're listening, and either can check in at some point, or maybe Connie will let us know how things are going. We think about you. We think about Rita, KB9SZ. We have not heard from her in a very long time now. And I'll just go ahead and say we haven't had since G1AU. Alan mentioned getting an email from Al, N9TV. We haven't heard him check in a while, so there's another one, Phil, WCTOS. So we just hope everybody is okay, otherwise engaged. We miss you. Come back. Let's see. Let me reset for one more thing. John, 89NN, usually gives us the solar report, check-in. And I messed about, just barely messed about with this ARRL stakes competition yesterday on the radio, a 24-hour contest, and 10 meters was absolutely non-existent. There was nothing. But a few days ago, 10 meters was really hot, so just the up and down 10 meters is fun to watch. So that's that, and finally we want to thank radio station WDOR for letting us have our equipment there and letting us put our antenna up on your tower. Makes a huge difference in our coverage, so thanks very much. And with that, I'm going to close the net and return the repeater to normal amateur use. Thanks for participating. Thanks for those of you out there listening. Come back tomorrow. Until then, this is KB9GPX, returning the repeater to normal amateur use 73 and adios.
Saturday night we went out to dinner with some people that have 150-foot towers in their backyard with these, giant generators. And the original cost of it was $90,000.
they were having it worked on. And the crane that could carry the generator up 150 feet, they pay for that by the minute. But anyways, for the electricity side of it, they're on time of day, which means during prime time, the daytime, they pay 19 cents an hour for electricity per kilowatt, and at night they pay 6 cents. And I asked them how long it would take to pay off the tower, and they said never in their lifetime would it pay off. But the power company gives them only 5 cents per kilowatt hour that they generate. So that's one of the reasons I'm not into solar cells. Another funny thing, we ate at a restaurant 15 miles south of Green Bay. Out of town. It was the busiest restaurant I've ever seen. You couldn't even walk through the bar. It was shoulder to shoulder with people. People loved that supper club. Dick and I both had prime rib, and it was so tough, neither of us could eat it. So we got big pieces of meat in the refrigerator. Kitchen knife.
Just slice it up and throw a jar of barbecue sauce on it and slow cook it in the oven. It'll be just great. Tasting on Tammy.
Yeah, that's the way Cynthia does the roast. I was going to dump some vinegar on it today. And then, yeah, she'll slow cook it in the oven. Talking about slow cooking in the oven. Our oven shuts off after 12 hours, and that happens sometimes when she's cooking.